the Everything But Politics podcast.
What is up, friends? Thank you for joining us here once again on episode 72 of the Everything But Politics podcast. Joining us today is a man that may be familiar to some, but if he is not, we are so excited for you guys to discover today's guest, Kelly Siegel. Kelly is the host of the Harder Than Life podcast, the CEO at the National Technology Management, and the author of Harder Than Life, Overcoming Poverty, Addiction, and Violence. Kelly, what an honor to have you joining us here today.
Boys, thanks for reaching out. Thanks for having me here. I want to add one more thing because this is the big kicker is the Harder Than Life brand has launched its Harder Than Life health and happiness community hangout app. And all of the proceeds are going to charity. So let's add puppet master, webmaster / social media here. Basically what it is, it's just a hangout place for winners, man. I just wanted a place where you wouldn't be listening to people, the naysayers and the negative Nellies tell you that you can't do something, or that this is stupid, or that you do steroids, or anything negative. So this is a positivity place for absolute savage assassin winners. The 1%ers, or the people that want to be 1%ers, are going to hang out here. There won't be any freaking censorship. There won't be any freaking algorithms. Everybody has a voice. Come hang out. It's Harder Than Life in the App Store, and it's all proceeds go to charity. And we're looking forward to that blowing up. We just launched it about a week or two ago.
And since launching it, what has the feedback been?
Feedback's been very positive. It's funny. There's only about 50 people in there, and they've already started gassing each other up and engaging. And you could see somebody puts a post on it, and all 50 people are like, hey, that's cool, cheering them on. So I cannot wait. Our goal is to get 1 million users in there. And when that happens, when you get 1 million people all rowing in the same direction, the sky's the limit. So you guys are young boys, and you're going to see that. I don't know. Were either of you in the fraternities at college?
Yes, I was in API at Arizona and Evans API, Indiana.
Yeah, I was a Sammy at Western Michigan. So when you get a group of individuals all with the same goal in mind, there's nothing you can't accomplish.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear that you're looking to connect all these people. And obviously, you've been in the social media game for a while now, and I've followed you for close to 2 years now. But something that fascinates me about people like you that are successful without social media is, why the hell do you want to make your life public and show everything you're doing and be involved? So what was the decision for you I'm going to start doing this and posting my life?
Oh my God, that's such a great question. First of all, when you live a life in complete alignment, you get ridiculed because you live a life in complete alignment. There's no skeletons in my closet. So number one thing is I made a lot of changes 5 years ago which was getting rid of and saying no to the things that I would want to hide from public. So when you don't have anything to hide and you're really loving your life, you want to show what's possible. You want to inspire, model, and motivate and educate what it looks like to live a life in alignment. So that's the first and foremost thing. It's just eliminating the skeletons of what you're shameful about. What do they say? The life you want to live and the life you're living, the space between it is the regret that we all have. I don't have that. I'm one and the same. And when you start living that, it becomes peaceful, becomes freeing, and you're clear as can be in life. So what made me want to do it is I just reached a point in my life where I feel like there was something energetic talking to me saying there's more to this life. There's more for you to do. You have a higher calling. There's people that need your voice, need you to be the leader and inspire and go and be harder than life. And when I did it, it was uncomfortable. And now, I'd do it naked if I don't. It doesn't bother me. I love it. You put a microphone in my hand, a camera in front of me, and I'm going to have fun because I do live a life that's I'm not supposed to be here, boys. I grew up rough and rugged, and I was beat, ran over, I was shot at, I've been stabbed, I've been threatened, and yet here I still am ticking, surviving and thriving now.
Yeah, and Kelly, what were some of those things that you did not want to share in your public life that made you kind of flip over to I need to make a change?
Oh man, Evan, you're asking me the tough question. So most of it is I wrote in the book. It's
Yeah.
called The Book's Harder Than Life. If you're watching the video, I bared it all in here. Basically, I was a drunken whore, Evan. I made a lot of bad choices. And you know what I learned to become a drunken whore? Am I fraternity in college?
Yeah.
I wrote all about it, man. I had this hole in my heart because my mother and my stepfather did the best that they could, but they did not show love. They weren't around, and how I became relevant and valuable, how I got my value was from other people. So external validation, and that was through women, through alcohol, through drugs, and through winning and conquering and all this other external stuff. So the drinking and drugs and sex, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll is what we didn't want everybody to know. And I could write a whole book about it. And now I'm so far on the other side of that. You ask me any questions, I could tell you. I've forgiven that guy who he was. So you're still young. The quicker you guys work on yourself, you are the exact demographic I'm trying to catch. Preferably actually a little bit sooner, because you're both right out of college, or either near out of college or fresh out of college. I want to catch you just before you go to college and say, hey, you can have fun, but you can also screw your whole life up. And it isn't all about going and being the biggest and the strongest and the person that could drink the most and the one that gets the most women and the coolest. That's irrelevant. I happen to be all those things and modest. But it's funny, if you become the person that you love, that emanates love, you'll attract all those things anyways. The right ones, though, not the bad stuff. So, I never really, I never did anything unethical, or I guess drinking and drugs is unethical, but I never really did anything shisty in business. I didn't cheat anybody. I would not be of highest morals and integrity when it came to women and myself.
Mm-hmm. And you're known on social media for being sober, obviously. Do you ever have like days where you want to drink, and how do you kind of like get yourself back in that mind frame to like, this isn't for me anymore?
Never. I never have those. As a matter of fact, I vibrate at 10, a level 10. And if I drank, I would probably drop down to about a 2. I could totally have one. But I love the problem is I like the taste of alcohol. I like it. I like a good scotch with a cigar, and I could have one, but it would bring me down. And I do not want anything that's going to bring down my energy. My word for the year is limitless, and that would put limits on me. So no. Do I have sad points? Do I have triggers? Absolutely, we all do. But I have habits and rituals that I use daily to get me out of that really quick. And the simplest and easiest one is what you'll hear from any influencer, anybody that's anything: gratitude. I remember what I'm grateful for, and then I bring myself back to center. And any time that you're thinking too far in the future or looking in the past, that's when you're gonna want to slip and have a drink or do drugs. Hey, if you're living a life that you love, you don't need to escape from it. And that's how I live my life. There's certain days, like last week, that I got myself sick. I pushed the envelope so hard. Like, my schedule, the 5 days before getting sick, I was in 7 cities, 7 states, 7 cities in 5 days. It was too much. I pushed way too hard. And then I beat myself up all this week because I couldn't honor my commitments. And then I remember I hadn't been sick. I hadn't taken a day off from being sick in over 2.5 years. So I forgave myself. I moved on. I had this whole thing in my head. I'm thinking, all right, I got to change some things. I can't go that much. I can't go that intense. And then I went, wait a minute. 2.5 years, I think I'm okay. I think if I go another 2.5 years without being sick, I'll give myself a little grace.
Yeah.
I do think I'm Superman. I do push harder than everybody in the world, and I am harder than life. And I do believe I'm limitless. And I'm going to push, push, and push until the day I can't push anymore. I always think I have another gear left in me.
Yeah,
Sometimes I don't.
I'm fascinated by this limitlessness that you mentioned, and I kind of want to clarify with you. Obviously, you're a Michigan kid, cold winters, put your head down and work, Motor City. How much of this Michigan, like I said, all those things like tough. How much you think those attribute to this mantra harder than life?
Well, a lot, because I went to high school with Eminem. So if you guys have seen the movie 8 Mile,
Yeah.
that's how we grew up. In the trailer parks, trash, robbing and stealing, drinking, drugs. That's where we got our love, was from our friends. But it was all betrayal, and if I would have looked back and known that, is you understand, there's no honor amongst thieves. There's no misery loves company. There's all these silly things that it's not long lasting. Yet I did it for 20 some years of my life. So that really was everything. And it's paramount to my upbringing. I could sit back here and complain that my mother and my stepfather were so rough on me, but they're also, they instilled this level of grit that you cannot scare me. You cannot rattle me. I will never get knocked off kill, because I've been through it all. I was scared every single day of every single minute of my childhood. Always scared. Now I'm never scared. So that's what that always putting yourself. If you look at any guys, David Goggins, put yourself in tough situations so you can see what you're made of. I know what I'm made of.
But like seeing you now, obviously we've just been talking for 15 minutes here, but you high energy, you seem extremely loving. When did this, persona come about? Obviously, based off your upbringing, it didn't seem like this was you, at 10, 11, 16, 18 years old.
That's what this is who I was deep down at heart. But this is, when you're born perfect. And then you form all these filters based on how the universe, how your family, how your caregivers, how your friends, how everybody interacts with you. So I was taught by reactions that people liked me drinking. So until I was like, I don't like me drinking, and then said, this is the person I want to be. I want to be larger than life. I want to be vulnerable. I want to communicate. I want to be loving, kind, and giving. And that guy couldn't survive in that tough and grown up environment. Now, he may have, but he probably would have gotten eaten alive. So this is the persona, the drinking drunk party guy, that I put on to survive. And then it became who I was until it wasn't. And then when I broke that down, I went, oh, I went back to the real me. The real me has a gigantic heart. I am kind. I am loving. I want everybody to win. I want everybody to be happy. Recently, I've been working on being unapologetic about doing the work that I do. So, because I've been taking a lot of criticism from people regarding my lifestyle. Everybody thinks I take steroids. I don't, but everybody thinks I do, because they don't want to do the work. And now I'm getting a little bit of tougher shell, where I just fight back and be like, listen, guys, you have the same exact opportunity to do what I'm doing. I'm at the gym at 5 a.m. every morning. Meet me there. You want to think I do steroids? Come meet me at the gym and come lift the weights I do. See if you can make it through a workout. Because everything I do with intensity, and I do with love, and I do it with everything. So how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yep.
I'm not going to mail it in. That's why I'm so glad we pushed this podcast, because I would have been good, but I wouldn't be like I am right now. And I feel freaking great. So I'm so glad that we had this today.
100%. Well, and then Kelly, you go to Western Michigan, and you mentioned that you made your best friends for life in Sammy at Western Michigan. So as I was in a fraternity and Evan's currently in a fraternity, I feel like I've made a lifetime worth of friends while at school. But like, what do we have to look forward to as we get older?
Well, you're gonna all the opportunities you do business with. Everybody I do business with today, are all fraternity brothers, or I met in the Greek system at college. And then it opens up more doors. So as I'm in Boca, I run into people and that are fellow Sammys, and the Jewish fraternities are some of the biggest, most well-funded ones in the country. So our people are very successful. I mean, so it's you have a lot to look forward to, but this is the time that, Evan, the senior year is a time of your life, bro.
Yeah.
My senior year, I had so much fun. I front loaded my schedule so hard that I literally should have graduated in 3.5 years, but I stretched it out because I didn't know that I went to too many classes. Like I took too many things. And the last 2 semesters, I had 12 credits, 13 credits. So it was such a breeze because I front loaded my schedule. So it's the last time in your life that all you have to do is wake up and go to class.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go to work. You're going to have to be answer to people. You have to pay bills, and it just gets serious right away. So my advice to you, Evan, is when you graduate, is take a little bit of time off. I was fortunate enough that I got to travel. But I'm 48, boys. It's you blink your eye. I remember graduating like it was yesterday. One of my friends just posted a fraternity picture of us all together at our fraternity house. And he's like, this is 30 years ago. That wasn't 30 years ago. That was 1996. And I went, oh, that's 28 years ago. I felt like yesterday, guys. Felt like yesterday. So you're going to blink your eyes and you're going to be 48.
Yeah.
But man, if you do it right, it's fun. It's a lot of freaking fun.
There's no doubt. But like I said, then you graduate, you do your traveling, and then your professional career kicks off. What does your life look like from that point on?
Well, I went into sales. So, was the best. You ever want to make a lot of money in your lifetime? Just go into sales. And the funny thing about it, people, I'm not into sales. We're all in sales. You're always selling yourself. You're selling people to be on your podcast. You're selling people to advertise. You're selling people. You're selling people if you have a girlfriend, you're selling them to believe in you. So becoming really good at sales is an art form, but it's something that can be learned very easily. And it's pretty simple. Just ask people what they want and give it to them, literally. And value relationships over any financial gain at all. And the more I find myself, the more I give, I'm always been a giver, the more I receive. Now, you still have to have standards and boundaries. If somebody is always take, I cut them off. And you cut them off and that's it. And you move on. So learn who are there for you and who are there to take from you. So and you're gonna have boundless opportunities coming from Arizona and coming from Indiana. I mean, those are great alumni where you can do a lot. And then you're in Florida, so Florida is like a third world country, right? Or it's a first world country in and of itself. I took off from Florida this morning, and I have a house down on the other side of the. You're on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast. But I spent a lot of time over there, and it's just booming. So you guys are in a great spot.
And Kelly, what specifically were you selling when you got out of college?
Oh, good story. I sold printers and copiers. So really what I sold was copiers. And when I'm sitting there looking at these things, I'm like, these are all commodities. You hit the button and a copy comes out. What is different from my copier than the copier they have versus my competitors' copiers? So this is 1997. So I said, let's talk about cost and how if we make these copiers, printers, copiers, fax, all networked, we can talk about saving time from hitting print over here and moving them over to the copier and collating them and stapling them. We can save time and money, and the cost per copy was so much cheaper than a print. So I I reframed the story from, our copy, our colors, our quality is the best, to we're going to save you time and money. And it blew up. And when I was sitting there in 1997 and 98, I'm like, this is pretty cool, this network of computer stuff. What's on the other side? And just then the internet was just starting off. And all of a sudden the dot-com boom hit and AT&T got deregulated. So I went and started working for a competitor of AT&T at the time and started selling T1s. So I sold companies their first ever internet connection. People were like, what do I need this internet for? And now look at us 30 years later. You want a freaking absolute a meltdown in this world, shut off the internet.
Yeah.
Forget electricity, forget air, shut off the internet, and people will lose their minds.
Yeah.
It is crazy how dependent we've come. I mean, right now, for example, this call would not be happening without the internet.
It's wild, boys. And I want to tell you, I'll predate myself. I was selling 1.54 megabits per second, and that was fast. And they were $2,000 a piece a month. $2,000 a month. What do we get? We get gig connections to our house for $100.
Yeah.
And it's going to get faster and faster and faster.
And while you were selling this and grinding and working hard in your 20s, did this maybe lead to the drinking? For example, long day at work, you say to yourself that I can't wait to go home and have a cold drink and just watch the game, something like that. Would it maybe go hand in hand?
No, man, I was already way down the thing. I moved out of I started drinking when I was like, we're on a regular basis every single weekend when I was 13, 14 years old. And I didn't stop until I was 43. So 30 years, man, I hit and it just, there were certain life situations that did make it worse, being in a fraternity and drinking like crazy where it was glamorized and where I got, I was the man because of the amount I could drink and and then when work happened and life happened, it's just everything centered around let's meet for happy hour, let's go out to the game, and everything is drink, 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 drink. But that's not real world. You want another cheat code in life? Don't drink. That's simple. Either have one or none. Because, and in your guys' thing, most kids now don't drink and don't take the cannabis. That's the other thing. People like, oh, I'm California sober. No. Do this little thing called face your fears. Feel your emotions. It's that simple. Yeah. Hey, man, we all have them. I got a newsflash for you. You seem like nice boys. I'm guaranteeing you got nice Jewish parents, but they screwed us up. They did. I'm a wonderful father. I am screwing my daughter up. The bar is so high for her. If she were to walk in here right now, she's like, oh my God, it's tough working for me or being my kid. And that kind of expectation all the time could crack somebody. So you're going to have some issues. And I got a newsflash for you. Cannabis ain't going to fix it, and booze ain't going to fix it. Neither will a prescription drug. But you know what will fix it? The easiest way? Name it. I'm feeling a little less than right now. I'm feeling a little unloved. I'm feeling a little like I don't fit in right now. And just naming it takes away its power. So work on your mind as young as you can. Do the work, which is meditation, journaling, therapy. I'm a fitness junkie, so I like to work out. You do some sort of that every single day, you're gonna win. And we all are in this together, man. And I got a newsflash for you. Fitting in is for the birds. You want to find your tribe where you belong, where people are there, that they want to see you succeed. And that's why I created that Heart of Life app, because I want to create a freaking big group of people that are all there lifting each other up. It's easy to criticize. Crabs in a bucket. They're everywhere. Everyone are going to reach out and grab you and try to pull you down because you're doing better. Got a newsflash. Somebody criticizes you. That's one finger pointing away, three pointing right back at them. It's all about them. Don't take anything personal. It's never about you.
Kelly, I want to talk about journaling for a second. I personally don't journal, but I have seen tremendous things on Instagram. When did you kind of start journaling, and what have you seen in your life that's changed?
So if you're a type A personality like me, your mind is always on. And the only way to get things out of your mind is to write them down, not type them, write them down. And so the only reason I didn't journal way long ago, I was afraid that somebody would find my journal and hold it against me. But again, as I started loving myself, you would read in the journal, I'm human. That's it. I'm in this thing called life, doing the best I can, battling every single day, winning more days than not. But there were several days when I didn't. And I'm human. So by writing every single day, I write at least one page, sometimes two, and they say nothing. And I have the worst handwriting in the world, and the chicken scrabbles. Every once in a while, though, I'll star something because I feel something, and I'll go back and I'll look for correlations. So a little known fact about, besides getting the thoughts out of your head, is you can start look for correlations. If I'm feeling the need to drink and I don't know what that's about, I can star my journal. Felt the need to drink. And then I'll write what I was going to write, and then I'll go a week or two later. I feel the need to drink, and I'll start, and I'll look for correlations, and usually you'll see I had a tough day at work, or somebody criticized me, or my girlfriend broke up with me, or my girlfriend wasn't around, or I mean, I'm just using that as an example. I don't even have a girlfriend, but there'll be a commonality where you'll be able to solve problems. And I use the drinking as one thing. It could be, I'm feeling down today. You'll see commonalities, and then you can address them before they happen. So as you're feeling that, I'm feeling a little down. There it is again. And you name it, and you take away all the power, and it doesn't spiral into a spinning where it then sends you down a path of negativity or self-debilitating processes like drinking, drugs, sex, porn, or eating. Some people just overeat, man, or pill popping, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's so easy I mean, all those things are so accessible nowadays, especially the click of a button, go to your pantry, whatever it is. I mean, it's to the point now where it's meant to be easy and accessible, and you get it in your hands as soon as possible.
Well, and everybody's doing it, so it's not frowned upon. You guys are so young. I mean, there was a time when smoking weed was frowned upon.
Yeah.
Now everybody does it. Oh, pop a gummy. You can't sleep, take a gummy.
Totally. And Kelly, one of the things you didn't mention, which is extremely popular with our generation, is these vapes. And the thing about these vapes is you don't know what's in them. At least like with the cigar or something like that, you know what you're smoking. The vapes straight from a Chinese factory.
Well, the vape too, it's got the whole concept of how you make it. It's so bad for your lungs, but that's like that with about any drug right now, man. If another public service announcement I'll tell people is we didn't have half this stuff that's out there now when I was younger, so we didn't have to worry about fentanyl, things being laced with fentanyl. So if you're even a casual drug user just for recreation, test your drugs. You can buy them over the counter, little freaking fentanyl testing kits, because it only takes one little trace and you're dead. One little. So yeah, vapes are real popular with the teenagers. My daughter, I caught her once, and that was the only time she did it. It's they're all cool. I'm vaping. And the one negative I have is I'm a cigar smoker. I like my cigars. I call it a victory cigar. And I keep saying I'm going to quit, but I don't want to.
So Kelly, going back to what you said about drinking, did you lose friends when you quit drinking, and how did that kind of affect your relationships with people?
You don't lose friends. True friends, you don't lose them.
True.
You lose drinking buddies. You drew undercover.
Yeah.
You lose undercover haters. You lose the crabs in the bucket. That misery loves company, but misery hates being alone.
Yeah, that's great.
Think of that.
Great quote. So then while you were drinking in college, were you lifting weights? Because I mean, you're a big dude. You must have been lifting for a couple decades. right?
Yeah, but the little known fact, this is why I laugh at the people that say I do steroids.
Yeah.
So I learned how to work out in the fraternity, as a matter of fact. I remember my fraternity brother teaching me about creatine and diet. And when I went to college, we did chest and biceps. That's it.
Huh.
So I learned how to do one body part a day, eat right, feed it with protein, take creatine. And it was my sophomore year, I gained about 25 pounds of muscle. So I went from like 170, I ended up with 200 pounds. And I have been hovering around the 2 to 210 for since I graduated, which is 30 years now. So I learned how to eat right. But yeah, I was drinking and put on that mass with drinking, but I was also 19 years old. Man,
Yeah.
the body is resilient at 19. I didn't sleep. I drank like a fish. I did a bodybuilding show when I was 19 too. And I tried to not drink and I lived in the fraternity house. Yeah, it didn't go well. So I just drank non-alcohol, or I drank uh, what are they? Miller Lights, which was 96 calories. And I'd have literally 10, 12 of those. And then I would just sit on the freaking cardio machine for like an hour to burn that 1,000 calories off. But what I learned is I couldn't be around drunk people then. Now I can. It doesn't bother me at all. It makes me laugh and they make me laugh. And really it just looks as an opportunity for me to help convert some people that have some issues in their life. And I'm not saying that every single person that drinks a lot has issues, but I'm not, you don't do that. You don't destroy yourself if you're happy.
And how long ago was it when you quit drinking?
5 years, just past 5 years.
Okay. So after like in the last 5 years, how is your fitness grown without alcohol in your system?
Oh, I am more defined,
Hmm.
more cut. And one thing that I never knew, it took a year, but all the aches and pains I had that I had attributed to just working out for 25 years went away. So my elbow pain, my back pain, my neck pain, these were just things that I just thought, oh, I've been working out for 25 years, heavy. And when I go to the gym, I don't get cheated. I lift heavy weights a lot. So I figured, oh, my backache, my knees, my elbows, that's just from the years of lifting. It took a full year, but all of a sudden, I mean, overnight, gone. And I was like, whoa. So there was some dehydration that was happening from the alcohol. And then you learn other little tips and tricks. There's so much, the sugar that's in alcohol is just, it's just terrible for you. So I don't need to do as much cardio anymore, but I've really seen myself get filled out. Like I'm the same weight, but I look bigger because I'm filling out my muscles bigger. And I know that because I have custom made suits. And when I put my custom made suits on, they don't fit the same way every single time. So everything just got better.
Yeah.
And with your recovery improving so not so quickly, but noticeably, did you ever take on things like stem cell therapy or anything like that? Or was it just supplements and sauna, stretching, that kind of aspect?
Well, I take testosterone because
Okay.
I am 48. So I've never, I don't have any other aches or pains or needs to take on any kind of stem cells or anything else. I took the testosterone on because when I was 38, my testosterone was so low, I was exhausted all the time. So when I went to the doctor and said, man, I'm tired and I'm only 38, um, deep down, I thought for a little bit that maybe it had something to do with drinking. Because the weirdest thing for me, this went on for years. Drinking gave me energy. So I would rationalize drinking because, oh, this is what gives me the energy. And I think it's just because that became my alter ego, and that was who I thought everybody wanted. That just wasn't who I wanted. So, no, the only thing I've taken on is the testosterone, and that was my. Those of you that know levels, normal, the low level is 300, and I was at like 260. And so I hover around 5 to 700 now, nothing like what bodybuilders do. They get up to like the 2000s. I'm not trying to enter any competitions. I just want to keep what I have and stay relevant so I can make monetary donations to the charities that we're trying to do with the Heart of the Life. It's, this is all. I do own an IT company. We do make cybersecurity simple, easiest and best IT company to do business with, but we're really working on this brand for charity. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm not doing this to buy a jet. I'm not doing it to buy a new house. I have everything I need. The IT business has been very, very good to me. So we're going to give back, and I'm going to keep paying it forward and helping gentlemen such as yourself and anybody really that asks.
Awesome. And I do want to learn more about the company, but before we get into that, I would like to learn a little more about your fitness routine right now. You said you like to lift heavy weights. I suppose we talked to Marcus Collius, who I know you had on your show, and he was telling us that he likes to lift light for reps. You obviously have a different take on that. Why is that?
Well, because if my muscles aren't sore, I don't feel like I did anything. So where people were like, "Oh, I went for a walk today," and I walked 10 miles, or I did 10,000 steps. Congratulations. I'm glad you did something. But if I don't feel a sore muscle, I just doesn't feel like I worked out. So I do. I'm going to tease Marcus now that you said this, by the way. I was just on a phone with somebody else. I owe Marcus a call. But I do high reps when I am tired. So it's like a day off for me. If for some reason I got any kind of an injury or I'm not feeling well, like just coming off of this sickness. I mean, I worked out all but 2 days. So, usually if I have I will take a few days off. And when I do that, I usually come back in a little bit light, but I was in the gym dispensing justice all weekend long. I love lifting heavy freaking weights. I think it's funny. I'm a bigger guy, but I feel like a normal size guy, and I love grabbing big weights and making everybody look and like, damn. And that's the way I always been. I used to work out with two big steroid users when I was in college, and they used to push me to the brink. And that's another piece of advice: hang out with people better than you. You want to become a millionaire? Hang out with a bunch of millionaires. You want to become an excellent public speaker? Hang out with very good people with deep vocabulary that know how to speak. You want to become freaking fit? Hang out with fit guys. You want to become a drunk? I got a billion friends for you. There's no shortage of those people. But yeah, I will be in the gym, and then I work out with a former pro bodybuilder, and I don't know what it is. I think he gets off on making my life living hell. So we lift very heavy and do drop sets. So he sits there and just pushes me. So if also too, you get an accountability partner is always a great idea. So I just heavy weights, a lot of times, consistency, discipline. If you look here, I got a thing that says consistency is what happens when which transforms average into excellence. So heavy weights over a long period of time equals big muscles.
Yeah. Dispensing justice. That is an amazing quote that I will absolutely be using.
I'll throw some more in there. I like to scorch earth, man. When I come in, that's why you get the high energy. I'm coming in to scorch some freaking earth, and people are gonna feel when I walk into a room. They're not only going to see it, but they're going to feel it. And then when I leave them, they're going to feel like they were loved.
Nice. I love that. And Kelly, so I'm very close right now to joining the 225 club. I'm getting 210, but I can only imagine that you're probably warming up with 225. How many reps can you hit 225 on bench press?
Probably 20, 25. I don't warm up too much with those. I do the dumbbells to just keep the weight off my shoulder or my elbows. So we get to the 125s and we rep those out. So And then the highest I go 245, 265, about as high as I'll go on a dumbbell, on a barbell press. But we don't do much of the bench pressing. We're doing more of the dumbbells, and really I do a lot of one arms.
Yeah.
Isolated. We do a lot of the machines because we're dropping weight so fast that 3-4 plates aside. So yeah, it's not an ego thing, but the 225. Are you taking any kind of creatine or anything?
Yeah, creatine and only two things: creatine and magnesium at night.
So get some DHEA.
DHEA.
What is that?
You look it up.
Okay.
That's another thing too. I have a longevity doctor, and I have my blood tested, taken all the time. So we watch everything from cancers to and you optimize your sleep. So all of this, by the way, is in my freaking app. I put my whole fitness routine, my diet, everything that I do is in the app. Now, that's just what I do. Now eventually I'm going to have pro bodybuilders in there throwing in their stuff. So there's going to be a lot of resources for people to get bigger. And yeah, it wasn't until I started working out with those goons at Western that I got big. I remember when I first went to 225, that was a big thing, but you're still young and you got a lot of years and you're going to hit it quick.
Oh yeah, this year, definitely in the coming months, but no rush. It'll happen.
Well, next time I'm in Boca, I'll freaking take you to the gym. Where did I just work out? Oh no, I went down to that Elevation Fitness down in Miami. I was in Boca, I left and went down to Miami and worked out with a bunch of people down there. It was insane fun. I walk in, people with their shirts off, they're videoing. I'm like, I'm home. I like weird things. And I ended up meeting a couple of people that I knew there, and it was just good times, man.
That's awesome. And I've seen you make posts on your social about, I think it was like maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and you were at dinner, said everyone I'm at dinner with right now I met through social media.
Yep.
How has that changed your life in terms of networking?
Well, I mean, numbers. That is a volume game. So I was actually talking to one of the guys that I met there was working on this little known Obamacare project that nobody knows about that helps businesses save money off their FICA taxes. And then I was sitting there with the largest marketing, the most successful, the number one ranked on Spotify sales and marketing podcast, the Radcast. That was when Ryan Alford. We were actually talking about, shameless plug, Brad Lee, who's coming on the podcast tomorrow, who's friends with him, and he was giving me advice about what to say and what to do. So, and I was in Greenville, South Carolina. So you get to meet and greet some new people. Now as the brand grows, you lose a lot of anonymity. So when I left, I went to the meat market in Boca, the new restaurant.
Yeah.
And had dinner with another influencer, and we were shooting the breeze and met some record producer, had a blast, talked to a bunch of people, walked out, and some guy yells my name. Hey, Kelly. I was like, stopped. Guy walks up, says, my name is so-and-so. I followed you for the last year. My wife and I wanted to thank you for inspiring us to quit drinking. We've been sober for 10 months now. Everybody I'm sitting there with are like, oh, so that happens, and that's fun. And I always encourage everybody, be respectful, but please introduce yourself, because I need to donate $1 million a year to charity. I need everybody. I need everybody's help. I need everybody's support. So if I helped you in any way, please return the favor by going and downloading the app and telling your story in the app. That's what people want to hear, because we're going to pay it forward, and we're going to leave this world a lot better than the way we found it. United, we stand. Divided, we fall. We're all in this together.
That's awesome. And when someone does tell you that when you're out in public, what's the reaction?
I mean, it's happening so much that I'm getting used to it, but it's never old. I love it. Especially when and this dude was gigantic. I took a picture of him. He was a big boy. So I can only imagine the mischief that he was getting into when he was drinking. So, I got his number, and he's by you, and I'm going to be able to reach out to him and call on his number when I need him. And it isn't I don't reach out to people and pull their chain to get something from them. More than likely, I'm gonna gas them up and breathe into and pour into his tank. So, but it's fun, man. That's what this is all about. And we're just getting warmed up, boys.
Yep.
In another year, we should be 3 times as big.
No doubt. And I'm definitely gonna be tapping into the app once this is concluded here. But speaking of harder than life in your podcast, I'm amazed by your time management because obviously you're the CEO of a company and then the host of the Harder Than Life podcast. I have 2 questions. How do you manage your time between those 2 things? And then, like you said, outreach for guests on the show. How do you go about that as well?
Yeah, first of all, you just got to send an email to Kelly at harderthanlife.com. And then my schedulers look at it, make sure that they're in line with the brand, and then they schedule it. But we're booked till, as you can imagine, till like June or July.
That's awesome.
And it's insane. And it just keeps growing because as this show gets bigger, more and more people are reaching out, and we're getting bigger and bigger people on. And my goal is to get Ed Milet on and get Andy Frisell on. But you asked another question. I'm going to show you. You can see. Let me see. All right. You see that?
Yeah.
That's my calendar. I follow a calendar. Everything is planned. And if you look, there was only one white space, and that was for lunch. That's it. I'm busy all day, every single day. But if it does not get on my calendar, it does not get done. So a couple other keys to success is I delegate and elevate. And once you delegate, you let it go. So I have an amazing team of people that I've built this strong culture with at National Technology Management that understand what the goal, what the mission looks like, how we're going to accomplish it. Now, how is different for every single person. Not everybody has the freaking crazy skill set that I do that wants to get up at 4:15 every morning and go from 5 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. It's about what my days look like. There's certain days where I fall on my face. There's no wonder I got sick last week. It took long enough, but it's no wonder. A day like today, I'm so freaking stoked. I feel so good that I was excited to see you guys on my calendar at 5 p.m. So you plan to fail, or fail to plan to fail. So put everything in your to-do. Delegate the things that are not on your pay grade, and pick and choose the things that make you the most money, and keep doing more and more and more of those things, and the things that you like. Don't get bogged down in minutia. Everybody thinks that, I'm sitting here, I'm going to freaking scroll on social media. You're not making any money on social media. You do, but you do by posts. You do them strategically. So don't waste time. That's the biggest thing. And everybody thinks that they have all the time in the world. You don't. I just told you, I blinked my eyes, 30 years passed by.
So NTM, I'm fascinated by the timing on NTM. 2008, extremely interesting time to enter a business. Now, Ken, I know you're the CEO. Did you have partners when you founded NTM?
No. So how it started, it was a company called Kelly Communications. I think I talked about it in the book, but I was working for an IT company, or an internet company called Quest Communications. I was at a golf outing. And at this golf outing, this guy's phone just kept going off. And you guys are golfers, and it's not good etiquette to answer your phone when you're at a tee box or at any time when you're golfing. And I'm like, dude, what do you do? He said, I'm a consultant for the telecom business. I said, what does that mean? He says, well, you sell Quest Communications. I sell 14 different communication companies. So where you're going to come in and offer one option, I'm going to give 14. And he was a fraternity member, way older than me. He was a Sammy from Michigan State. And somehow we got freaking on the same team playing golf, told me how much money he makes. He said, I'll help you start a business. paid it forward to me. But the reason why he took liking to me, because we were in the same fraternity, many, many years different, but still, you want to see opportunity? Go meet some of your alumni. They're all wanting to help you, every single one.
What did you realize the marketplace was missing at the time?
Well, that at that very moment, which is hilarious, because I'm looking at this guy and he knows who he is. I'm not going to call him out, but he's a good friend of mine. He's family, and I bought him out after a few years. But I realized, I said, if you make that kind of money, I can quadruple you because I'm twice as smart as work twice as hard. And I was right. He carved out a good niche for himself and did well, but I wanted so much more, and I did. And then when I had this Kelly Communications. We're a consulting company. We're educating people on how to get the most internet for their buck and saving people money and streamlining costs. And then I was sitting on my boat and I was thinking, who can beat me? And I said, the company that can actually support the computers and integrate this stuff can beat me. So I went out and bought an IT company. And that's when I brought on a partner. I didn't think I knew IT. So I brought in someone, and then that was the wrong move. It was an expensive experiment. Brought on someone who wasn't in alignment with me. Life happened, learned a bunch about myself, and realized, yes, I do know a lot about IT, and what I didn't know, I could learn. And set out to build national technology measures. So the business has been in the actual original national technology management was called Venture Datacom. It's been in business in 1997. And then I didn't buy into it till like 2001. And then we changed the name in 2008 because I wanted to be this company we are right now. I saw what we were going to become. That's one of my biggest superpowers. I can see things happen before they're going to happen. That's why the logo of the company is a shield. I knew that cybersecurity was going to be the number one thing. So we set out to build the number one simplest cybersecurity company to do business with. And we did. And I wanted to be national, and I wanted to offer services anywhere in the country. Because here in Michigan, where we are, the economy is not great. Florida, it's booming. So we sell in Florida. That's one of our biggest things. We're working on deals in Texas. We're working on a deal in Utah. So we have made it predictable and repeatable and standardized where literally I can sell it to Taiwan if the government would let me.
And when you already established as a company, how difficult is a rebrand?
Well, the rebrand really, it's more of an ego thing than anything else. So what gets difficult is when you try to instill a new culture with core values. Because once I did that during the pandemic, I turned over almost the entire company. That sucked because people that got me here wasn't going to get me there. And to watch the system, the standards, procedures, and day-to-day routine just churn through the people made me sad. But when you set out a mission and you work it backwards and you say, here's our core values and here's our cultures and here's our standards and here's how we're going to do business, and people won't do it, you got two choices. Either they're going to conform or you have to replace them. Either people are going to change or people are going to change.
Yeah. And since COVID, here we are 4 years later in a month. How have things evolved since 2020?
Well, we've crushed it, and we are set for our biggest year yet. But I wrote in my book, Harder Than Life, where I ripped apart the company. We went through and standardized. We implemented EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. I hired a CEO. I pulled myself out of the day-to-day stuff. And ever since then, I realized when you start a small business, you're the bottleneck as the CEO. It's hard pill to swallow, man. You know, there was a point where I was doing everything. I would sell it. I would support it. I would install it. I would bill it. I would do everything. And now I do nothing but keep the relationships going that I value and love so much. Not only customer client relationships, but vendor relationships, in office relationships with my team. That's what I value most, is knowing that I just got a call from our chief technical director, and he said, I want to thank you for my job. I just paid off my student loans. That's winning, man. That's how, because he knows that number one core value is family and continuously improving. And that's what he did. And I was proud, and I'm proud to say that on the air. You're the first person I told, because I learned when I got sick.
Kelly, it's been an incredible episode. And before we let you go, can you kind of give our listeners where to find you, what's coming, what are your plans for 2024, maybe some 5-year goals, anything you want to share before we let you go?
Yeah, a couple things. Love everybody, tell the truth. Ram Dass said that. You can be anything in this world, be kind. Everybody's fighting a battle they don't know nothing about. So I love the book, The Four Agreements. If you boys haven't read it yet, get it. It's well worth it. And what we're gonna turn a huge marketing engine on for this Harder Than Life app, because we're going to meet our $1 million donation goals to the 3 charities that are very near and dear to our heart, which are in the app as well. Near the end of the year, we will start working on book number 2. We're going to name it Easier Than Life, because it'll pick up where book 1, Harder Than Life, ended. And we will say, which is, it ended at the pandemic. And then we will go forward from there and talk about everything we've done from there on, and then give even better practices of what we're going to do next. And then, we're going to take National Technology Management to the freaking big, to the 10 or 9 figures. And then we're going to enjoy these donations and figure out where we can move the goalposts. There's no rest in me. We're going to keep moving that goalpost until we help major make a dent and leave a mark in this world where people know the Siegel name everywhere.
Love that.
Love it.
And I'm going to pay it forward, boys. So in any way, shape, or form I can help you, you want introductions to people, just keep being honest. Ask. Vulnerability is the new cool, man. That's what I want. People think it's, I got to be tough. I can't show my emotions. Be vulnerable, man. It's cool.
That's awesome. And Kelly, this is without question one of my favorite episodes we've done. So I'm thankful that you were able to join us here, and definitely look forward to keeping in touch.
Hey, did you guys send your cell phone numbers to my assistant? Do I have them?
I've sent it to Taylor. I'll resend both of our.
I'm sure I have. Make sure I have them both so I can store them, and then when I'm in town, I'll look you up. We'll get a workout in. I'll get you that 225.
Yeah.
All right, let's make it happen.
I'm going to be there, as a matter of fact, and I know April's the next time. I'm definitely going to be there. I'm officiating a wedding when I'm there, so it's going to be fun.
All right, well, guys, Kelly Siegel, Everything But Politics, episode 72. Kelly, thank you so much.
Thanks, man. It was an honor. Appreciate you guys. Oh, by the way, Kelly.Siegel.71 on Instagram. That's the best way to get a hold of me. Kelly.Siegel.71. If you get in the app, you have unabated access to chat with me. And remember, all that goes to charity. So,
Awesome.
Thank you.